we're having a good time. Jerald Ingram, former running backs coach for your Jacksonville Jaguars. He also followed TC up to New York. That means he's got rings to wear with a couple of Super Bowl titles up there. The question was asked earlier, will this team make it to the Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence as their quarterback? We're going to put Jerald on the spot before we're done here, but we're going to hang out with him for one more segment. You can definitely follow us on YouTube. Joe C., Matty Hayes, Big Sirs, and JJ, minus Mia today. She's out at the Players Media Day. But Coach, when you name some of the things that he does, and I swear to you, from the time you were on the phone with us a few weeks back, I'll never forget the word suddenness, because I think that is a great adjective to describe Freddie T. And then we just rolled through all the great running backs that are in the Hall, and you said you had no hesitation putting him in. How tough do you think it will be, now that he's finally made the finalist list, to be recognized the way you think he should?
Well, I think, if there was a year that really makes a difference is this year. Now that the door is open, having Tony Boselli been there, it's a waiting game and it's a numbers game. But he's definitely well-deserving of it. I think he's in a group of people where he has a chance this year of getting there. If it doesn't happen this year, it has to happen next year. But for sure, this is his year, I think. I think he's in the same company, if not better. And I think if it was up to his peers voting, that he would be in. And it'd be a no-brainer situation. The mention that he adds to the game is that special that other running backs have got to sit there and say, you know what, I did what I can do, but I can't do that. I just can't do that.
And I
can't do that into certain defenses.
That's to Matt's point. Don't you wish more would speak up?
Yeah. Well, and that's my thing too, Jerald. Is like, do you think enough of that voting group that votes for the Hall, do you think they know that? That's the problem. Because it took so long for them to come around to Tony.
Well, we live in this world of egos, no matter who it is.
Right.
And everybody wants to be the one to say that they have the answer. And there's some people making judgment on people that shouldn't be making that kind of judgment. I think when it does come down to the wire, you can say what you want as a writer or this, that, and so forth. You have your own criterias, but I don't think they're going to be in line with the players. I think that's the difference. So I don't know how you do it. It's 50-50 or whatever it is, but I think it has to come down to the peers that literally have played the game. To make decisions, is a guy a system-type guy? Is he – obviously, is he a third corner? Is a nickel guy? Is this? But he isn't a true corner. There's a lot of people that want to say, hey, he's a Tampa 2 guy. He's this, he's that. Well, can he actually play? Does he have speed? Does he have suddenness? Does he have balance? Can he backpedal? Can he break? Does he make interceptions? Right. What does he do individually?
Is he rare?
That's rare.
Yeah.
That's the exception. We've all seen those great quarterbacks that have come out of the U and Florida and a lot of other places that we all projected across the country that are going to be first-round great players, and all of a sudden they got to play with the big boys. And it's a different story. You're playing with grown men. Sometimes you just don't want to believe the hype, believe the play.
Right.
Okay? Because it's different. It's different in high school. When you go to high school to college and college to NFL. Some people mature later and can play at a Division III and become a great player in the NFL. They can be overlooked in high school and become a great NFL player based on desire, knowledge, and ability to perform. Some guys get caught up in the pressures of playing the game. They can't show themselves, obviously. And that's my feeling of Tim Tebow, that, you're this phenomenal player that we all want you to play, but all of a sudden you get at the next level and it's like you question everything you do. You can't play at that level if you have to question everything you do. Some people have that ability to just go out and play. And some people have that ability, like Ray Lewis said, I'm going to go out and play, but you know what? I'm going to study harder. I'm going to do everything I can to represent my legacy every single play. So your name on your back means something.
Right.
That's the kind of guy Fred is. His name on his back means something because of where he comes from, the pride he has to have to stand up to people, have to fight for people. Some people fight all their lives and they really don't know how to get out of a hole. Fred's one of those guys who knows how to get out of the hole. He's just, you got to respect it out of him. He's different. He's special. He's fought for this. He is who he is and deserving of who he is. Coach, when that yellow jacket comes on, it's done. That's it.
And you know what, Coach? Listen, I may be a little biased, but I was even biased about 3 years ago when we were trying to get Boselli in. And I used to say, listen, all you got to do is watch the film. I mean, do you watch the film? Do you know that how this man dismantled people when he played in the game? The same thing goes with Fred. Just watch the film.
Right.
And I get so sick and tired of the Hall of Fame because, listen, I played with a guy who I consider one of the greatest offensive linemen I played it with. And I know people saying, well, you know, Boselli. No, I'm talking about Damani Dawson.
Yes.
Dawson. You know, it took Damani Dawson 5 tries to get into the Hall of Fame? 5
phenomenal
tries.
Yeah,
you know,
that's great.
They talk about Kelsey. Damani was doing that back then. He was pulling and killing people.
Yes.
It was amazing to watch a center like that.
With that athleticism.
That athleticism.
And strength and power. I tell people that, Damani Dawson was the type of person who would whoop your ass on Sunday but bake you cookies on Monday.
Yes. One of the nicest people. Met the Pro Bowl.
One of the nicest people you ever meet in your life.
All right, so I love it because when you hear people in the business, they understand it better than maybe a lot of us on the outside. So the question was asked earlier, Trevor Lawrence, as we said, if you're picked that high, great things are expected of you. How do you think this team has performed with him as their starter the last couple of years, and where do you see it going?
Well, I think he's, we all started with, it's a strange situation how he started. And everything has to start with your quarterback, okay? And it's got to also start with your offensive line and your D-line. But you got to have leaders, okay? And some people used to question in New York about Eli's leadership. And Eli's leadership is by example, okay? Now we're seeing the type of person Eli is. Eli was always a prankster. But when you have a guy on your team like Mike Strahan, Tom used to say all the time, he goes, I can't do what I do unless we win. And that's be genuine, hardworking, and making the players accountable to everything without making excuses, okay? Without making excuses. But when you have a guy like Mike Strahan and when you had a guy here like Calais Campbell, you can't put a price tag on leadership.
Yeah.
You really can't. It's an uphill battle because you got men that play for different reasons. Dick Drawn, who used to be a coach here and NFL head coach, used to say, you know what, I played in the NFL. Guys are motivated for a lot of different reasons. And Dick would say, I don't care how you play for women, you play for partying, you play for a lot of different reasons other than the team a lot of times. But we're trying to get you to play as a team. Like Bo Schembech would say, the team.
Right.
Okay? But it is the NFL. Just be motivated. If I have to motivate you, you're not going to be in the league long. Okay? You're wasting all of our time by being so. It's okay when you have leadership to say you're an extension of me on the field and Tom Brady. You got a guy like that, Belichick, to say, hey, I can be who I want to be. I can put the demands I have because I have that leadership that's going to get in that grill of that player who can't focus long enough. He doesn't mean to. He just can't focus long enough, and he needs enough guys out there like Leon and Tony that aren't afraid to get in their grill in the locker room and say the way it is. It's not personal. Bo Schembechler, I got into coaching, he said, you know what? I grew up with it. Woody Hayes playing. I played for Woody. I coached for Woody Hayes. But foot up your ass, okay? I don't know anything different. But I want the players to grow and understand that this is not personal. I want my assistant coaches to understand that I'm not the legend that everybody thinks. Bo used to say it. He says, I'm not the legend. It's these coaches here and these players that buy in, that the hype is created by me. I'm a young coach, and I'm like, dang, is that what it meant? I wish I would have known that years ago. I'm still trying to get the foot out my ass. Okay? Why'd you do that, Bo?
But his whole
He's trying to build men.
Yeah, his whole those who stay will be champions.
That's the whole thing.
Exactly
those
what it is.
will be champions.
Right.
Those who are willing to focus long enough. Can this team in Jacksonville focus long enough? Because they're all human. I don't care what team you're. You go through family deaths. You go through all kinds of issues, kids, all of that. And you still have to win. when you come in through that door for the hours that you're there, you're putting the time in. There's some guys that have the ability to take it home with them. If that happens, that's great. It's like Antonio Pierce. We had Antonio in New York. Antonio never left the building. We brought him in. He never left the building. He was there when the players left. He was there as long as we were as a staff many times. When you had that as a player.
That's dedication.
Because that's dedication. All right, that's half the battle. You see it. When you see players, when we're coming out of the practice and they're still in the meeting rooms, as we go upstairs after dinner, and they're taking their leadership groups, who are the true leaders here in Jacksonville Jaguars?
Great question.
Who are the leaders? And who are the group
answer.
And who are the group leaders to make sure that the DBs do their job? Who's accountable as their group? Who's accountable as the D lineman? Who's the guy up front? We knew who the guys up front were. You weren't going to mess with these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't. Okay? You're just going to, join in line. Mm-hmm. Okay? Or you might get turned around and get your ass kicked. I watched Tony Boselli damn near fight Steve Beuerlein on the sideline. Serious. Unbelievable. Over a 3-step drop. Serious. We got to peel him off. Tony, over a 3-step. He took a sack on a 3-step drop. Get the ball off. That's what Tony was saying. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. He's like, that ain't counting on my stat sheet.
It ain't a 5-step or a 7-step. I don't care. Tony said, I don't care.
Get the ball out. Yeah.
Up in the stand. But we ain't taking a sack on a 3-step drop.
All right.
That was a fight on the sideline.
He was young. Tony was young then.
Didn't matter. Tony knew football.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because he was just a rook at that point. Yeah, because Beuerlein was gone after that.
Go figure. Tell me pride in the meeting rooms like who give up a sack, Leon. Tell me there's some pride going on now.
It was competition.
They're going to look at you now.
Competition every day.
Yeah, Leon, before Coach goes, do you want to let him talk about Michigan and Harbaugh and all that?
Well, listen, Coach, I'm going to sit here and tell you, I was the only person to pick y'all to win to start the season.
I'm glad you.
All right, so I gave you your flowers. All right, so I rode the train all the way into the stop. All right, I rode it all the way in. So it's going to be special, Coach. That parade. I mean, I don't know if they let the former alumni be a part of it, but I think that you being a former alumnus, you should definitely be in the parade some capacity.
Oh, that would be nice. But I have my 2 parades. It's about them.
Well, Super Bowl parade is hard to beat, Coach. 2 Super Bowl parades.
You know what's fantastic about playing in Michigan is that you play in front of 107 to 110,000 people. You're in the middle of that field. It doesn't feel that way. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the game, to have everybody come out rushing on that field, I wanted to rush on the field. Mm-hmm. We only had that situation one time. Anthony Carter wins the game against Indiana University at the final play of the game.
What a great player.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Here in Florida, down South Florida.
Yeah. Florida schools couldn't get him. Michigan did.
What? To have a night game at Michigan, I would have loved. They didn't have that then.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
To have people, the fans, the commitment to everybody. That's why I tell everybody, I said, if there's one NFL game you need to go, and this is all people out there, go to Lambeau. Not in the wintertime. It's
experience it.
Experience it. Experience Lambeau Field. It's a great feeling. The history there, the people there, they're all in. It's like being remember our first couple of years here at Jacksonville, how it felt?
Oh,
you thought you were at Florida State or Florida game.
Right?
Yeah, it was electric.
Yeah. It was electric. It really was. It was special. Everything that happened when we beat Denver and all those people lined up here. And I thought we were so close a year ago here in Jacksonville. But I think this year was a learning experience for the Jaguars. That everybody thought you were going to be the team. You got to show up and be the team.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of humbling moments this year for everybody. Doesn't matter. Coaches, players, you thought you did enough. You didn't do enough psychologically to your team.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Everybody, from the GM all the way down to the players.
You assumed that you thought now we're as good as anybody. Well, everybody's good in the NFL. What are you going to do to make sure people are accountable to doing everything? If you're all in, you're all in.
Right.
I don't care what group it is. You're not as good as you thought you were. You're not.
So, Coach, show them
it's
how
got to mean something.
Coach, throw up those 2 fingers and let them show how good they should be.
I was just going to say the thumping you hearing is a Super Bowl ring going against the table.
Exactly.
All right.
And I'm blessed to have two. But, when you win the Super Bowl, I have to tell you, it's the best feeling in the world. It's almost like Rocky. It really is. You think about all the things that happen in 1 year. You think about it. And it comes down to one final play. Because in both games, New England Patriots hadn't lost a game. And luckily we played them the last game of the season. And they knew they were in trouble. Even up to the game, Tom Coughlin gave a great speech talking to the team. And he talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I told these guys at Jimmy Smith's induction, Tom talked about the Jaguars, that we were the best team in the NFL, and that was our moment. And he played Eminem's song.
TC's cool that way.
Yeah. And he played that with a highlight.
Yeah.
And he said, I want you guys to experience what these guys didn't get a chance to because they should have. Okay? Whatever happened, happened. It should have been us and the Rams. We would have beat the Rams. I tell Kurt Warner all the time. We had Kurt for a year. Great person. I said, we were the best team in the NFL, and you should have been playing us. And he told that team that this is our shot, no matter what it is. We're going to do everything like it's just a normal game to win. When you prepare this week, last week, and what they did, typically, you treat it like it's an extra week to learn about everything. Your coaches actually started watching film before then. You have to. You don't have enough time.
Right.
As a coach, you have to whittle everything down. It's the Super Bowl. You don't want guys feeling that this game's bigger than it is. It's still a game that you got to win. It's a game of 60 to 70 plays that you have to win, that mentally, who's going to crack first? You're both good, but who's going to crack first, and who's going to get out of that crack at the end of the game?
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we will do it again. I know we will. I got that feeling. Coach, thank you very much for hanging out with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Love Jacksonville.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Jerald Ingram, former Jaguars running backs coach, and he's still in town, ready to talk it up when it comes to football.